PodAskew is a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
It's Fandom Friday. And we're getting vocal with PodAskew. I am CJ, and with me, as always, is my hetero life mate, Rico. What's up, man?
What's up, motherfuckers?
Been a hectic week, let's say that, for sure. We got a lot to go over before we get into tonight's topic. Some good, some bad, a little bit of ugly. I'm not talking about... So I guess we start with the good. We're gonna start with good and end with some good. Get a little bit of bad in the middle. Good news is you can now hear PodAskew on Amazon Music. So if you have an Alexa or just using the Amazon Music app, you can go there and listen to PodAskew. As far as I could tell, our entire library. So that's pretty awesome that we're available on Amazon. We also found out when we got that information, we're available on Amazon, and not in a good way, Rico. Why don't you fill people in on what that means?
Let's state the fact that if you guys ever buy any of our merchandise, first off, thank you. But we only sell our merchandise on tpublic.com. So if you ever see our merchandise on Amazon or Etsy or fucking Goodwill, we're not getting the fucking money. And it's fucking... So we discovered that other people have taken our exact logo and put it on shit and are making money, allegedly. We don't actually know if they're making fucking money, but there's
things being advertised for purchase, whether they're selling it or not. Is it actually getting money off it? It's still a little, maybe.
and we've discovered at least 3 separate sellers on Amazon selling all sorts of shit, like flags and baseball caps and all sorts of fucking shit. And I feel like John Malkovich in Rounders, like, pay this man my money. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. So we're working on taking the action we need to take to deal with this. But it is still going to take some time. So that's that. And now we have one more good thing before we get into tonight's topic. Ariel, I would ask you to grab a spot, please, before we start this next part.
Sorry. Not a great time. What's up?
Hi, are you okay?
Not really.
Ruth, the RBG?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's not fun, but hopefully this will help, because at the 8th hour, no pun intended, a letter came into our inbox from down under, and this is directed completely at you.
Okay.
So, yeah. So this is from Jay to you. Happy birthday, Queen Ariel. Okay, look, listen. From all of us here at the PodAskew family, together with our correspondent from Oz, our show's #1 fan, Jay, we would like to take this opportunity to wish you the happiest of birthdays, Ariel. And seeing as we hijack your show frequently, we thought we'd spend some time giving you some love. So we thought we'd gift you with a sort of PodAskew exclusive. This is an excerpt from Jay's upcoming Report from Oz series, of what she calls her love letters, and she sends to us and sends written, this one especially for you. It comprises of that and a birthday message to help you celebrate your special day. So here we go. G'day from Oz, Ariel. I was hoping to take this opportunity and send you the biggest of koala bear cuddles and a big old wet one across the seas to you across the seas to you and to wish you the happiest of birthdays. May it be filled with loads of friends, fans, fun, and much frivolity. And if it's PodAskew, I'll throw that other F word in on there at the end, but I'll leave it to your imagination to decide what that word might be. And loads of cocktails and cake. Birthdays with their double-edged swords of yay, a reason to down a few coldies with your mates and forget the fact that you're just another year older than you were yesterday, as we all gather together to celebrate this extraordinarily talented, creative, and inspiring woman who advocates for those souls who can't or whom are tragically no longer here to have a voice. You tell their stories, you share their legacies. You also impressively explore the motivations of those whom commit those deplorable acts, all whilst you fight for the victims' rights to be heard by the many through your podcast. You speak and stick up for the little guy, those souls who are forgotten by the hands of time and tide in this hectic and at times cruel and horrid world. You are their voice. Thank you for sharing it with us all. But, and sadly for me, I wasn't aware of this extraordinary woman and her incredible contributions to our world when we first met. Not just in her capacity within advocacy, but the powerhouse of the podcasting world that is Ariel. It's that this successful, powerful, and courageous woman is hilariously quirky and continues to fly her own fandom flag, maintaining her lifetime street cred card to this very day. Her smile and laugh warms every room and heart, welcoming to one and all. Now, I have a confession to make. Whilst, and to quote Ariel, I don't wish to yuck anyone's yum, I'm not a true crime fan as such. I know, probably not a great idea to mention that to a true crime podcaster and network co-founder, nor admits the fiercely loyal and supportive true crime podcasting community. But fuck it, because I stupidly already told that very thing Ariel when I first met her. I find them too macabre, and I like comedic podcasts and shows that make me laugh like PodAskew does each week. I told her, idiot, right? Luckily for me, Ariel was gracious, so very sweet about it, which endeared her to me even more so. Since that first meeting, I've witnessed firsthand her impeccable interpersonal and conversational skills that weigh in the home. I don't usually do these raw. This is new.
I have it as well if you want me to jump in.
I'm good, but thank you, buddy.
Okay.
Conversational skills, the way in which she can relate, gas bags, shoot the shit, and have a laugh with everyone she meets is such a phenomenal talent and gift to have and share. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching you every week on Get Vokl. I have an absolute blast each week. As I've told the boys often, I dearly love getting to see the magic and the behind the curtain spoilies. I'm occasionally gifted with. But nowadays, my Fridays just aren't complete without seeing your smiling face or fantastically infectious laughter. So I decided to give her show Malice a stab, quotes, experience firsthand what all the fuss is about. What exactly this true crime obsession everyone else but me seems to have. And then another, each one more captivating and enthralling than the last. So much so, I've passed on this Pot of Gold podcast over to my BFFs, quite a discerning bunch with very big predilection to girly weekend cocktails and sleepovers at my joint. Within minutes of pressing play on your episode Soup, the vengeful pack were already compiling their wish list of exes they'd like to perpetrate this upon, merely in jest, I assure you. Well, mostly.
For legal reasons, yes.
Yeah. Then as the evening went on, the girls and I sat around much like sitting out in the bush around a campfire. You spinning yarns in that hypnotic, eerie, yet soothing tone had us riveted for hours. Ariel has such an uncanny ability to place her audience not just at the scene of the crime, but inside the lives and minds of both the victims and the perpetrators. Being a Kevin Smith fan from way back, I love nothing more than a brilliant storyteller. And Ariel, you're in a class of your own. We are enchanted by your beautifully written and crafted narratives, delving deeply into the minds and experience of not just the victims, but even more admirably to me, the perpetrators also, thereby helping us to understand and in some cases empathize with what leads them to such dark places and deeds in the first place. Perhaps by understanding what forces acted within to create the monsters, we can hope to identify and aim to prevent them occurring in the future. Currently, I'm navigating my way through your brilliant Malice library backwards. Much like your toilets run up in the north, every episode is much like your toilets run up north. Every episode is more enthralling than the last. I've been exploring some of your other shows on the Oracle Network also, and I'm loving Doc Picks the podcast, as well as some of the others you recommend. And so far the girls' fave they're digging into is Sex Queens. So
Very good.
we're not done. Jay's a writer. So our apologies, CJ and Rico, but while we're cheating on you both in PodAskew at present, and no, it's not just with Smokey and the hilarious boys from Because Fuck You, That's Why podcast, also another awesome show on the Odd Pods Media Network. Not my line, hers, but it's also now with Ariel and her incredibly fascinating, highly riveting, and entertaining show, Malice. You're a fascinatingly brilliant woman whom I admire, and yet someone whom, even in such a brief period of time, I consider a mate. But don't stress, gentlemen. PodAskew will always be my number one and home to me. I'm perfectly fine slipping in and out of you both, tasting all the sweet, tantalizing treats on offer weekly. I know, Jay, that's the dirtiest thing I think you've ever written. And you've told us stories about JoJo. And for me personally, it's pleasantly refreshing to finally see someone with that phenomenal shade of blue hair and to be situated upstairs on her head as opposed to, well, down under for one. My sincerest of thank yous to you all. And while I'm at it, to all those fellow content creators and generators out there for all your time, tenacity, triumphs, and sometimes, as I've recently discovered, even tragedies and tears that you all provide to all of us. To all of us professional podcast listeners out here in the world. Your voices are all heard, whether it be merely by a few or by a great many, just yet to arrive at the party. You all are heard. And as the podfather himself, Kevin Smith, always says, your voice could very well be that voice or show that changes a person's life or inspires them to create their own art, just as PodAskew has done for me and this little hobby of mine. If you're anything as talented as engaging as Ariel is on Malice, then you're most certainly loved and appreciated and very much a part of your listeners' daily lives and their happy places to escape. And be very afraid. My girls and I are coming for you, so brace yourselves. So on the most auspicious of occasions, I'd like to extend to you the warmest of birthday wishes and biggest of thank yous for opening my girls and I up to the fascinating world of true crime and its extensive and incredibly supportive community. And to wish you the most wonderful birthday and let you know you have a new disciple at the Malice altar each week. And I look forward to not just discovering all those pots of golden gems that wait for me to hungrily devour, but for all the laughs and entertainment to lay ahead. Have an amazing day, and may this year gift to you and all of your listeners laughter and loads of love that you so genuinely deserve, darling. With huge birthday koala bear cuddles, smooches, and so much love from PodAskew, the koala-spondent, and your newest fan mate from Oz, Jay.
Oh, God, Jay. Thank you.
I think the rest of this, Jay, is meant for later. Am I reading that right? Yeah. I think this is... We'll share this for later, but I wanted to at least do that part. So, yeah. So there you go.
I don't even know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you works. That's all.
Yeah, that's all I need. So.
Yeah. Sorry, I wish I was in
No.
better spirits. I found out about this minutes before coming on here.
Despite the RBG thing, I'm pretty sure this is the same reaction we'd have anyway.
It's entirely possible.
More probable than possible. So,
Yeah.
listen, I'm not going to make you hang around if you don't want, but I wanted you to hear that, and I wanted you to be able to react to it. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop off for a minute, so hopefully I can get myself together. But
No,
before I go,
Yep, go.
before I go, just in case, I want to show my shirt
Aw, there you go.
You can't handle
and
the
my
weight.
socks because
Socks. There's socks too. Oh dear Lord, look at that.
you see what it says.
I dissent. Very nice.
He's my real life hero. So
Not for real.
I hope she didn't have to go through bullshit on Amazon for that product placement.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Fuck. God damn it. So.
and actually my daughter is planning to be her for Halloween this year.
Oh, nice.
That's badass.
That is badass.
Yeah. She's her hero too.
Very nice.
Yeah. Um anyway, I thank you again. Oh Jay, thank you. That's so sweet. I am, like I said, gonna try to get myself cleaned up and calm down a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll after the show, I'll forward you a copy of this so you can have it for yourself. Okay.
I'll be back in a bit, guys.
You do you. We'll be here. So.
Okay.
So yeah. So there's that. And she's upset about Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away. That literally dropped. What is it with death in our show, Rico? I mean, fucking Chadwick after, Ruth Bader before. What the fuck?
You know, as long as we got Kateri, I do want to take a moment to thank Kateri. I don't intend on going into specifics, but I do want to thank Kateri for sticking up for me and defending me and just being overall awesome. Same with Jay. Both of you came to my defense recently, and it means the absolute world to me. And I just want to thank you both, as well as Steph. Steph
yes,
is not feeling well. She's out in the other room calling the advice nurse, but we may have to schedule an appointment. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who, stuck up for me.
Yeah, we're not going to get into specifics, but I do want to at least say that we had a bit of a trolling on Twitter, and Rico and I can handle that, but this person took it too far, is essentially what it boils down to. We know that there's an occupational hazard of being trolled a little bit, doing what we do here and on PodAskew. Yeah. We can handle that, but this person took it too far, especially after being said, all right, look, it's been fun, but let's put the brakes on, and they didn't want to do that. So no, Rico, Mark, we got it handled. Thank you. We appreciate that. But no, we got it handled. And
without going into the specifics, it is kind of ironic that the perpetrator is overthinking this more than we are. After that was all over, we just stopped thinking about it. And then they were like, oh, they're gonna just spend a whole episode talking about me and the whole thing. Then she let it go. We're like, we weren't doing that, but we're now going to talk about it briefly.
Yeah, briefly, we're going to bring it up. Yeah, but we have no intention of talking about it tonight. And Jay, yes, we had no problem reading that for you. I wish I had a little more practice with it, but I'm not mad at you for that. It's just what it is. But it came out wonderfully. As always, Jay, you're a writer, dear. So very well done.
I before we go into more, I do want to. We have a very dear friend named Octopus Caveman. We call him OC. His name is Octopus Caveman. He lives out in LA. Very talented artist. I have one of his paintings that I can actually show you.
It's not. Yeah. I'm going to be able to get out very easily. But
okay, well, mine. I mean, look,
the audience.
there it's a little dark.
It's an OC original, but man, is he talented. He really is. And if you get the chance, I think the documentary is still up on YouTube. It's just called Octopus Caveman. Please go check that out too. Mark, just for your for you, he's that guy that did that song Dinosaurs Are Super Fucking Cool that I made the group listen to the one time. Same guy. He's struggling. So
he's struggling, and he already has struggled with depression, and he's one of the funniest, generous, nicest guys I've ever been fortunate enough to know. We've had him on the show a couple times, at least 3 times. I did a secret episode with him called ADD with OC because the conversation just went fucking all over, and it was good. It was dark. It was funny, and he's such a gentle soul. He lost a lot of his paintings because his next door neighbor at his trailer park tragically and horrifically died in a fire. We don't know the cause, but I saw, he was sending me pictures of it, and the house was ablaze, and his trailer started catching on fire, and his tool shed or his art shed that he does all his art and keeps all his art in, was damaged. So he didn't ask to do this. I'm doing this just because I give a fuck, and CJ didn't even know I was going to do this.
No.
If you want to help support him and just be overall good, he is a talented artist. It is a little dark and weird and abstract, and but it would be helping our friend out if you could go on his Instagram and consider buying a painting. They're not cheap, but they are worth it.
Yeah.
I bought a painting. I can't afford it, but I bought a painting just because I want to be like, can I just give you money? He said, I don't want donations. Buy a painting. Fine, I'll buy a fucking painting. So that's what I did. I'm not asking. It doesn't matter to me if you guys don't buy a painting, but if you could consider it, it would make me and CJ, and I know OC, very happy.
Definitely.
And it would mean the world to us. I mean, he had already thought he had hit rock bottom. Now he feels like he's more psychologically worried because he, as he puts it, he heard his neighbors scream and die.
Oh, yeah.
Like he said, like, I can't. He was up all night. He couldn't sleep. It's horrific.
I don't think I could either. There's no smooth transition from that to what we're going to talk about tonight, except for the fact that probably this topic is equally as expensive. But they did announce last week and this week and started pre-order sales of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and Series S. And that kind of got me thinking, let's talk about video games. Let's talk about games we like, systems we like, things we don't like about some systems and old school stuff. I'm really glad to see Mark's here, because if there's an expert in my world about that, it's Mark. So I'm going to unlock the boxes now, and let's get into this. And maybe we'll start with the new ones, and then we'll work our way, not necessarily generationally, but we'll start with the new ones and then go wherever we go. So spots are open. Feel free to anyone who wants to grab them. I will tell you right now, in this insanity of the PS5, I was able to procure one, so I'm very excited about that. Got that coming on November 12th. What's going on, Todd? But excited that's coming. I've always been a PlayStation guy, primarily for me because the controller is easier with my disability to operate. And fortunately, the PS5 doesn't look like it's going to be any more difficult or complicated to operate. So I'm excited. I'm actually excited to feel what the haptic feedback is going to be like on it too, because I know that's a feature with the PS5, and I don't think Xbox is doing so.
Let me ask you this. The PS5 yet?
What's that? Yeah, the pre-orders are out and they're already gone. It's $4.99 for the disc version and $3.99 for the digital version.
Also, you can get one that doesn't have an optical drive?
Correct. It would be only digital. It would all be digital download games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I believe, and Mark, now that you're here, you can back me up. But because I was reading a little bit about the Xbox just to be prepared for this conversation, the Xbox X and S are essentially the same thing in that the S is digital only, but the X will have a optical drive. So,
as far as I'm aware, that is correct.
Okay, that's what I saw too.
The one with the optical drive is the more expensive one, yeah?
Yes, and that's the interesting thing. So PlayStation 5, it was $4.99 with the optical drive, $3.99 for digital. Xbox is doing $4.99 for the optical, also known as the X, and the S is $2.99. But I'm seeing something about a $24 and $24.95 monthly thing. Mark, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, essentially, do you remember when we all had cell phone contracts?
Yep.
It's basically that, but for a video game system.
Yeah.
You can sign up for a certain amount of game. It may just be Xbox Live, but I think it's full on Game Pass.
Okay.
And they add the cost of the console onto that.
So if you were paying like $14.99 a month, you're now paying like $48 a month or something, or $38 a month or something like that.
Something to that effect. Yes, I don't remember what the exact price points are.
It says,
Finance our video.
so that's an interesting way to pay for your system, though. I mean, that's how I pay for my cell phone. I never buy the iPhone outright. I pay for it as I go. We're dropping people left and right tonight, Rico. Sorry, guys, but going something different tonight. But yeah, I mean, that's how I'm paying for my PlayStation, or not my PlayStation, my phone. I do that. That's added onto my bill monthly.
Honestly, I think given the circumstances of the past hour, you probably would have been dropping people regardless, just because
Ruth Bader
sucks right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll appreciate you hanging out, bud, because and
I'm getting my news from you guys.
Everyone is still here. We appreciate you, of course, but I mean, but yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on this thing. I'm excited to see what it can do. I'm curious, Mark and Rico, you might be curious about this too, even though I know you're not getting one right off the bat here, but they're doing some interesting stuff with the transition from 4 to 5. So one of the games, and I think this is not the only one doing it, but Cyberpunk, was it 2099 or what's the number on it, Mark? Do you know?
2072, I think. I don't remember.
Something like that. Yeah. The game.
My food's here. Excuse me a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. What they're doing is they're not making a copy of it on PS5. They're making a copy of it on PS4, but because the PS5 is backwards compatible to the PlayStation 4, when you put the disc in your PS5, it's going to know, and it's going to automatically download a patch that will then basically up-res it to the PS5. Now, it's the only game they're doing that on that I'm aware of. The rest of them are getting flat-out transfers over to the other system, or the other one. Like, for example, Watch Dogs Legion, which I'm getting. I'm just not getting a 4 copy. I'm getting the copy on the 5. So I think it just depends on what you're doing there. So.
Oof.
I just had to pay much more for my phone contract every month so I can watch you guys and Ariel here and not run out. Oh, well, that's that shitty internet service down there, Jay. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. I want to, but
I feel your pain, Jay.
What's that?
I said, I feel your pain, Jay.
Yeah.
My internet's not that great either.
No, Australia, basically, you pay for your internet like you prepay. It's like prepaid cell phones. Like, it's like burner phone. It's really fucking weird. We did some research to help her a while back. I want to go old school because the thing I was thinking about, and Mark, you're probably aware of this, but a game came out for the Switch today called Super Mario All-Stars? No, because that's the one from the Super Nintendo. This was Super Mario 3D All-Stars is what it was called. And it's got Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy all on the same chip for the Switch. So I don't know if you knew about that. I don't think you heard me either.
No, motherfuckers
Yeah,
got my goddamn soda.
Motherfuckers.
Fucking 37 times in a row.
Well, I mean, thank you, Todd. Then don't order there anymore, Mark. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, if you're fucking up
It's from
37
multiple different
times,
places. It's multiple different places.
And they all
call those motherfuckers up and say, "Where's my soda? I paid for my soda. Either refund me or bring that shit to me."
I just fucking dispute it with DoorDash, and they're just like, "Okay, we'll give you $6." And I'm like, "My soda isn't worth $6, but all right."
Oh wait, then Mark, you probably didn't hear what I was saying about Super Mario at all, did you?
No.
Okay, so you're aware of the Mario game that came out today?
Yes.
Yeah, so we were just talking. I was just talking about the fact that I think it's cool that they put out the Super Mario 3D All Stars thing.
Yeah, I'm very baffled that it's like only going to be on sale for like 2 months or something like that.
I don't even think it's that long. The way they were talking about it at GameStop, like once they run out of quantities, whatever it is, they're done. They're not getting another shipment till March.
Yeah, like if you buy, you can only buy it
Wow.
digitally for a certain amount of time, too. It's very strange.
Yes, I happen to get a physical copy, and so I'm excited because Mark, and we've had the conversations about controllers, and we've had it on PodAskew, the show, but we haven't done it here. But I never got to play Mario Sunshine or Mario Galaxy, so I'm pretty excited to be able to get a shot at those. That's primarily why I got it, because I still have Mario 64 for my Nintendo 64. So
Yeah, but why would you use that garbage ass controller?
well, yes, but although I do think.
You mean the controller requires you to have 3 hands?
Yes, 3 hands for sure. So, but anyway, I don't know. I'm just trying to. Hey, Fern, thanks for stopping by. But Mark, what is some of your or Rico? Well, how about I start with you? What's a classic system that you've played that you've enjoyed? I mean, I know you're not as deep of a gamer, but
I mean, I was a gamer, but like I had a dad that was very like, I mean, I still do. I still have a dad, but he was very like it would be an absolute like I must have done something amazing to get a Super Nintendo cartridge, and like it wasn't like he bought the system. I think it was my brother's system, but they also had a Sega at their mother's house. So the first system I grew up with was a Super Nintendo, and I mean there were countless games that I enjoyed. I was a big fan of Super Mario Kart. I had Super Mario World. I had Donkey Kong and
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country, and also Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, third
Which
one.
I never got the third one, but there was we've talked about this before. I played the Lost Vikings and was awful at it, and I tried so hard to like get past like the second level, and I mean I was 6 or however young I was. There was Sunset Riders was really fucking fun. Easily one of the most fascinating Western games I've ever played as a kid, and insanely difficult for me. And then I think one of my biggest guilty pleasures was there was a Beavis and Butthead Super Nintendo game. And I remember my dad being very critical, not because it's Beavis and Butthead, but because as you run around in the neighborhood and like the stores and hospitals and schools and shit, you would like when you're in the neighborhood, like there'd be dogs coming to try and bite you, just neighborhood bullies and dogs and shit, and you would punch the dog to get to beat it. And my dad's a huge animal lover, and he said, I don't like this. I don't like this abuse to animals. So that was the only time my dad was ever like critical of a video game was when I hit a dog as Beavis and Butthead. And then like, my mom was also like working class bartender or waitress. So like it wasn't hi Steph. It wasn't like we could get a lot of like new games. My mom was working, and I got lucky enough where a family friend bought me a PlayStation 1 and I played that and rocked that for a while. All the classics, Crash Bandicoot. I think I had like
Didn't you just get the Crash racing game? Like rebought that for the Xbox? Didn't you get?
Yeah. And it is one of the funniest fucking games I've ever played. It's just Crash Team Racing, but revamped and it just looks so much cooler. Now I'm like, I got a friend who's got an Xbox, and I'm like, download this shit, pay for it, download it, whatever. If I gotta give you money, like, and then we played like a couple races last night. It was well worth it. He was like drunk as shit, but he's like, oh, I'm having fun.
Oh, Steph, you're allowed to be late. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what's your? Oh, sorry, Rico. Were you not done? My apologies.
No. It's just I branched out from PlayStation to PlayStation 2. The same family friend, bought me a PlayStation 2, and then eventually I went and bought myself a PlayStation 3, and stopped there. That was the last system I bought, and then Steph has been gracious enough to let me use her Xbox One. and a 360. So I got 3 systems in like that corner. It's next to the TV, all just sort of stacked on each other, and I alternate when I need to play whatever I'm playing.
Mark, what you are. You know those obscure games, but I would say in terms of systems, you and I are on the same page in terms of what we like. I think, yeah. System wise,
I mean, I like all the systems, but yeah, that's fair.
well, that's kind of my point. Where I mean, I don't dislike the Xbox as a system. I just struggle with the controller. You know,
Right.
So, but what's your favorite system? Like, do you have a number one like that? That's the one that I fucking love more than any of them.
Probably the PlayStation 2, if I had to venture a guess.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people who are going to be like, you know, like they're like, if you ask somebody who's a little bit more into it, they'd probably be like something along the lines of like, wow, I really like the Sega Dreamcast or some shit like that. But like, no,
It's funny.
like,
It's funny you picked that one because I know a lot of people that pick that as their number one system.
the Dreamcast had a lot of great games. I don't want to crap on the Dreamcast, but the PlayStation 2 had far and away the most great games at the time period it came out, I think.
And if I recall, Mark, and back me up here, but I believe up until just recently, it was still the number one selling system of all time.
I think it still is. The 3DS might have beaten it, but I think it still is.
I thought the PS4 passed it finally, honestly.
No. Not even fucking close, bro.
It was that or the Switch.
Switch, maybe.
Now I have to research, so I will do that. But yeah, I was actually trying to tell Rico a little bit about the Dreamcast off air like 2 weeks ago. I was explaining the VMU thing. Actually, no, I think I was talking to Logo Mike, but I was telling him about
Yeah, you were talking to me.
I was talking about the VMU thing. What did you think of that, Mark?
I don't know that they had a great idea for, like, it was a neat novelty. I don't know that it was as well implemented as it could have been as far as that went. Just because, like, there were how do I put this? The way that it was designed was a neat idea. Allowing you to like micromanage certain things from the screen was cool. Having like little mini games that you could play on it was fun, but like the games that you could play on it were like extremely basic. So it was not.
I know a lot of people
like
what is it called? Panzer Dragoon, I think it's called.
What are you talking about, Panzer?
Something Panzer for the I'll find it. Well, I looked that up real quick. You're right, Mark. PS2 is still at the top, but the PlayStation 4 is only 44 million units behind it, which compared to some of the other systems is not that far.
Yeah, I'm honestly astonished that they've gone to 106 million so far.
110.4 according to this.
Lifetime worldwide hardware sell-through is 106 million. Let's see.
I'm on
112 million as of June 30th.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, like if they had another,
I don't remember,
like 2 years, maybe. But with the replacement coming like right now, that's probably it's probably going to cap at like 10 to 20 million more, I would think.
Yeah, probably. I would agree with that. The game I was thinking of, Mark, is called Panzer Dragoon.
I mean, I know what Panzer Dragoon is. I don't know why you're referencing it in relation to the Dreamcast. It never came out for the Dreamcast.
I thought it. Maybe I'm getting.
3 of them came out for the Saturn. 1 of them came out for the Xbox. And then I think there was a remake of the first game that was either about to be released or has just been released on the digital storefronts. But nope, no Dreamcast Panzer Dragoon games.
Todd, what were you about to say?
I was going to say that I think probably the reason why the PS2 is still ahead of the other ones is I don't believe that the PS2, when it was brand new, was that expensive. I mean, it was like most. think it was ever that expensive. I think that's probably sold more is because it was cheaper.
I think it was also due to the fact that it had a built-in DVD player, which at the time DVD players were absurdly expensive.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 was actually a cheaper option in a lot of cases if you wanted to watch DVDs. Like that's not necessarily the case for Blu-ray nowadays. Like you would not buy a PlayStation 3 or a PlayStation 4 as an alternative to a Blu-ray player. But
Although
also, nobody gives a shit about Blu-ray.
At the time, Mark, that the PS3 came out, because Blu-ray players it was the same thing. Blu-ray players were expensive, and as expensive as the PS3 was, they were still cheaper than Blu-ray players at the time.
Yeah, but like less people care about Blu-ray than did about DVD.
Well, I do find it interesting because Sony owns Blu-ray, and then once Xbox implemented Blu-ray into their systems, every time someone bought an Xbox, Sony got more money.
Yep.
Well, Sony owns DVDs too.
I don't think I knew that.
Yep, they own
I didn't know
CDs and
that either.
DVDs.
Well,
Fucking
shit.
Sony. Well, what the fuck are they being so goddamn greedy with Spider-Man for? Fuck.
Because there's always the opportunity to make more money.
Speaking of which,
I
I got that Miles Morales shit, Mark. I'm super excited to play that thing.
Oh yeah, I'll play that.
I mean, I still I obviously haven't played the new Spider-Man game because I don't have a PlayStation 4 and it's not available on Xbox. But pound for pound, dude, Spider-Man 2 is probably one of the best fucking games on PlayStation 2 that I've ever played. I mean, there's been a lot of other Spider-Man video games, but like they all kind of pale in comparison.
Most people will generally put it in their top 5, I think.
Top 5 games, all period, or Spider-Man games?
Spider-Man games. Let's be clear.
Okay, no, that's what I was asking. Yeah. Do you think the PS4 one takes the top spot now? Because I do, personally.
Probably. I haven't spent enough time with the DLC to say for certain.
DLC it's just more. I mean, it's definitely some cool stuff, but it's not. There's nothing like drastically different in a good or bad way. You know what I mean?
A few people I've talked to kind of like loved the core game, but like were really tired of the DLC by the time they were done with it, which I think negatively impacts it to a certain extent. But I would definitely say, for me, Spider-Man 2 is probably my number 3 at the moment.
What's your 2? Yeah.
My top 5 at this point in time is probably from number 1 to number 5. Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
Yep.
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man versus the Kingpin for the Sega Genesis. And then either the Spider-Man arcade game or Spider-Man Friend or Foe.
Okay. You know, I was actually a big fan of Shattered Dimensions, too. That was me.
I was not.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man, there was a Spider-Man release on PlayStation 1. I mean, it was old school, but it was the best fucking Spider-Man game we got on PlayStation 1. I remember having a lot of fond memories with that. I was pissed that you couldn't go down the streets of New York. Like, you would just crawl down and then just die. Like
that game was rad at the time, but time hasn't been kind to it, yeah.
No, I mean, I would want to play it now for nostalgia reasons, but
no, you don't.
But I mean, there was you brought up Spider-Man Friend or Foe. I remember playing that. I'm like, it was fun, but there was another Spider-Man game. It was Ultimate Spider-Man, where you played as both Venom and Spider-Man, and you alternated through their stories, and it looked and felt very much like a 3D comic book.
Yeah,
and I thoroughly enjoyed it then. I would rank that at least in my top 5, maybe number 5, but I had so much fun just to be able to because it was a clear difference of the characters, because as Spider-Man you're swinging and it felt like you were swinging just like how you would in Spider-Man 2. It felt like it was the same graphics and gameplay and all that shit. But then as Venom, you're just Hulk jumping, like across the fucking city of New York, and you're playing a villain, and you're eating people. You're sucking them into your fucking body and just like eating them and then spitting out their corpse. I thought it was the fucking coolest thing at the time.
I can feel that.
Which Spider-Man game had like all the different versions of Spider-Man? They had like a bunch of the various voice actors who have played Spider-Man over the years too.
Shattered Dimensions.
I wanted to play that, but it was expensive, and when I finally was able to buy it, I couldn't find it.
I liked it. I actually like it slightly better than Web of Shadows. I'm not saying it's like drastically different or better, but I liked it slightly better.
Yeah, I played Shattered. I played one. I definitely played one of them because they're sequels. They're connected to each other, correct?
I don't think so.
There was. I thought one of them was like a sequel, or it was a
Shattered Dimensions had a
continuation.
sequel that featured just Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099.
I knew.
Well, maybe that's the one I played. I remember swinging into like a jungle. Like that's the one. I remember whatever the one.
The first one. That's the first Shattered Dimensions. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I did play that. I actually got to give it props. Like it's funny when CJ first got the Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4. I also got a Spider-Man game on PlayStation 3, and it was the Amazing Spider-Man. And it's okay. Like, it's not, like, it was really, he, like, reached out to me. He's like, when the fuck did you get a 4? And I'm like, I didn't. He's like, you're getting trophy notifications for Spider-Man. I'm like, no. I'm getting trophies for the Amazing Spider-Man. He's like, what the fuck? And it was fine. It's a fine game because it does, no matter what the game, swinging as Spider-Man in New York is fun.
True.
Yeah.
Regardless of the game.
Yeah.
The fighting was a little repetitive, but you can also say the fighting is repetitive in Spider-Man 2, or Shattered Dimensions, or Web of Shadows, or Spider-Man PS4, or whatever the fuck. That's
yeah.
But I thought it was fun. Would it be my top 5? Maybe, but I also have not played a fucking ton of Spider-Man games.
I got to be honest with you, Mark. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember. There was a Spider-Man game for the Atari 2600. Do you remember that game?
Yes. I am old enough to remember the game for the Atari 2600.
Well, so am I. That's why I brought it up. But I mean, like, that wasn't a bad fucking game. I mean, for what it wasn't bad, So.
Dude,
wasn't it just like a red dot going across the screen?
No, it was red and blue. You at least got like it was better than that.
It was a red and blue dot.
In my mind, it was on par with like a Pitfall, graphically speaking. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, that was fun. So, I mean, Spider-Man's listen. And this could spark a whole other debate, but Spider-Man's gotten a much better run of video games than Batman ever did up until the Arkham series.
True, yeah.
Most of the Batman games have been utter shit until the Arkham games.
Yeah, I still have fucking traumatic memories of playing Batman Beyond on PlayStation 1. That was... But, and I don't say this often, it was a little fucking buggy, but it was still kind of fun to do. There was a sort of twisted metal type of game where you played as like the Batman and you drove all the Batman type of vehicles. So the Joker mobile, the Batmobile, Robin's motorbike and shit like that. Like there was that game and I did have that and that was kind of fun, but like I was too young to really kind of understand there was an actual linear campaign to it. I just was like, I'm going to kill the Joker and bash him. Yeah. Like, but you do make a good point. Like, yes, the Arkham games, all 4 of them, even Origins to a degree, are great Batman games. And I'm really excited about the new one that the trailer aired, a couple weeks ago. Plus the Suicide Squad game. That looks good.
I didn't see it.
It's not an Arkham game. Yeah, they released a couple trailers, but the next Batman game is not Arkham oriented, although it does kind of look like it. But the implication is Batman is dead. So all of his underlings, his proteges, Robin and Nightwing, so you get 2 versions. Batgirl.
Is it?
I don't know if you also get Red Hood.
Wait, I have to add. I had to ask because of Mark. Is it Jason Todd? Because fuck Jason Todd, if I recall.
Yes, fuck Jason Todd. Well, Jason Todd nowadays is a stone cold killer. So
Oh.
I have my own problems
that-
with the idea of Batman being like, hey, guy who uses guns, I'd like you to help keep the streets clean in Gotham City. I certainly have no objections to that, guy who fucking murders people.
And that's the point, is that you could play as different characters and you could handle it the way that you want. You could be Red Hood and shoot people in the face. To be also clear, you could do that with a DLC in Arkham Knight. Because once you beat the game, you actually can, there's a DLC where you can be Red Hood and you shoot the fuck out of people. Is the most, apart from like the Harley Quinn DLC where you actually are like batting people like and knocking, like hitting them in the fucking skull and she's killing people, you are as Red Hood shooting Black. It's a whole separate level where you fuck up Black Mask and like shoot him repeatedly.
I could have sworn I got all the DLC and I don't remember that one. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, yeah, man. I have to actually go back to Spider-Man. I have to ask Mark a question real quick. It's not directly a video game question for just a minute, but
yes, downloadable content. You are correct.
Yes, Stephanie. Yes. Mark, you've seen Spider-Verse. I'm positive of that, right?
You would actually be incorrect on that one. I have seen parts of Spider-Verse, but I'm not a movie guy. We fucking went over.
Well, no,
you're a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, that's why I
still haven't seen either of the Marvel MCU Spider-Man movies yet.
Yeah, but you're also an anime guy. So while it's not anime in the true sense of the word, the fact that it's animated, I thought would appeal to you more than, say, a live action film. But anyway, the point I have to ask is, have you at least seen what Miles Morales' Spider-Man outfit for that movie is? Have you seen that?
Yeah, it looks like it does in a lot of the other interpretations of him, the black and the red.
But not only that, but it specifically looks like a spray painted spider.
Yeah. What about it?
No, because the Miles Morales for the game coming in November it's the color scheme, but it's basically Spider-Man in black and red.
It looks a little bit different. It's more consistent with his comic book appearance. I think the spray paint design was an aesthetic choice specifically by the people making Spider-Verse, but it's not how he consistently looks in the comics.
Okay, that's why I was asking, because I really dig that look for Miles Morales. I think that's a good way to go with the character and the costume. What's that?
What I remember from the movie is he actually grabs one of Peter's older costumes when he was a teenager and spray paints it different colors to make him different than Peter's Spider-Man.
No, that's exactly what he does. He takes the red and the blue, he leaves a little bit of the red showing, spray paints the rest of it black, but then he does that circle with the four lines that ultimately make it kind of look like a spider on his chest. And then he's actually wearing a hoodie, which the hoodie.
Mark, I have a question, Mark. I don't know this, but I figured you would probably know this. Is a spider cave, because there's a spider cave like a bat cave, was that ever a thing? Because I always thought he kept a fucking suit in like his apartment.
He keeps the suit in his apartment.
Yeah.
So a spider cave was never a thing.
If they ever did anything like that, it would have been like sometime in the 70s when everybody was going nuts. So I can't say definitely it never happened, just because like I don't know everything. But
all right,
if it did happen, it was a fuck off, girl. It was a one-off.
Girl.
I don't know, but he sounds like a complete toilet. If they did, it was a one-off thing, because I mean, like, he was a fucking broke newspaper photographer. So,
well, that was my point. But in Spider-Verse, there's a part where like they go to Aunt May, and then like she goes to the garage, hits a button, and the fucking whole floor just goes down deep underground, and it's like the Batcave but Spider-Man suits. And I'm just like watching this, I'm like, oh shit, Warner Brothers is gonna sue Sony.
Yeah, no. I don't. There have been many different interpretations of Spider-Man. That would be a new one on me, but like I dig it.
And Aunt May was basically Alfred. I mean, she wasn't a butler, but she basically was Alfred. It was very.
She was in cahoots. She knew all about it.
Yep.
She was like, that was weird to me. It's one thing if like she discovers it. It's another thing that she's in on it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
but I mean, I still think the worst thing that Spider-Man had to deal with was the fucking spider copter, the spider bike.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But you know, and to be fair, this is not exclusively a Spider-Man topic. So if you guys have like in the chat, talk about a favorite video game.
Yeah.
You know, in the comments.
All of you for sure. But Mallet, I know you're a gamer, even if it's just PC. So please throw your comments
even
down
if
there.
it's just PC, like she's some kind of second-class citizen.
Well, you know, she knows what I mean. She knows.
But
what he means is people who do PC gaming spend entirely too much money on a computer to play video games.
Hey, I play PC games.
You built yours.
I mean, I would.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And it's lasted longer than my fucking PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have so far.
Your 4's dead?
No.
Oh. Oh, but I see what you're saying. Okay, I follow. Yeah.
But
yeah, the way you phrase that, it sounded like, you know, I got nothing left except my PC.
Yeah.
You did kind of come across.
I have nothing left to lose. Dude, I just had to fucking have my car repaired. Like, I have nothing left to lose at this point.
Did you finally get that done?
Oh yeah, I drove it home from the lot, and it felt like I was barely driving. It was so great. My brakes were shot, the compressor on my air conditioner was shot, and I ended up replacing my tires.
Because why not?
They're like, you gotta replace your tires soon, and I was like, just fuck it, just do it now. They're like, the whole thing's gonna be $1,600. I'm like, okay, just fucking do it. I don't want to die in my fucking car. I know I'm gonna die in a way that is like not conventional and probably not desirable. I don't want it to be in my fucking rusted out shitbox of a car.
Yeah, but your PC will fucking still last.
Yeah, your PC will live beyond you.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be dead, but the PC will still be going strong.
Yeah. Also, since we were talking about Spider-Man real quick, one thing I want to say, we are on the third iteration now of Aunt May not knowing that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and I'm just really fucking tired of it.
What, in the comics?
Yes. In the movie, I want to say, I didn't watch it, but I want to say in the movie she knows.
But
she finds out at the
end of the first new Spider-Man movie. She's like, "What the fuck?" At the end credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, in the original comics, they didn't tell her until, I want to say it was issue 400, where she died, where she was like, "I've always known you were Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah," so on and so forth. Okay. Then they retconned that, and they said it was...
That's what killed her.
Yeah, then they retconned that, and they said that it was an actress who was hired by Norman Osborn to pretend to be Aunt May, who died of cancer, and Aunt May was still alive and didn't realize that he was Spider-Man. Okay. So then, like 5 or 6 years later, 5 or 6 years later, he revealed it to her, and that was great. And then they did the whole, you're not married to your wife anymore, and nobody knows you're Spider-Man, dingamy-doo. Which, for, you know, she stopped knowing he was Spider-Man, so it's like the third fucking time. And as far as I'm aware at this moment, she still does not know he's Spider-Man, so it's like we're on our third go-around of it. And I'm like, for fucking shit's sake, guys, just fucking let her know and be done with it. Like, he fucking told Felicia Hardy and Johnny Storm again, but he won't tell, like, his goddamn aunt.
They did, however, in the Marvel's Spider-Man animated series, in this last few episodes, she found out in that. She finally knows on one of the animated series, anyway. It's actually a good series. They got new episodes coming out, I think, this weekend on Disney XD.
What's that on, Todd? Where's that at?
Disney XD.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I know that show. I've seen a few episodes. It's not bad. There was a very short one that ran on MTV for a while where Ian Ziering played Norman Osborn, or no,
MPH was Peter Parker.
MPH was Peter Parker, and I think it was Mandy Moore was Mary Jane.
Yeah, that was a spin-off from the Tobey Maguire movies.
Well, the best the Spider-Man iteration that I'm the most excited about is the one that fucking Mark will eventually goddamn right. Let's go.
Oh, stop it.
Motherfucker, I'm working while I'm talking to you guys.
You're also eating while you're talking to us. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, I'm not on camera, so it's not a mukbang. You don't have to change the title. It's fine.
I love how his image looks like a gumball Casey Jones.
That's kind of what he's
You know
going.
what? I'll take that.
Yeah.
Also, in the chat, Stephanie noted Fable 2 is her absolute favorite game. I like Fable 2. I'm not 100% sure if I like it better than Fable 1, but I really do like Fable 2. I think it's a very good game. Halo 4 was a fantastic storyline, but I can't play the Halo games. Too squishy for me. I have a complicated relationship with the Halo franchise collectively.
You have a complicated relationship with everybody, Mark. Come on.
I don't have a complicated relationship with you. I think you're great.
Well, all right, but you and I are complicated, which is why we have a great relationship.
You know what? Right on. I don't have a complicated relationship with CJ either. I think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, basically.
I'm sorry,
he's
CJ,
not complicated.
No, it's fine. To actually, you know what? You should. I don't think Rico's ever heard the teaching me what a friend's logic thing is.
Oh yeah, we So the logic goes that we're gaslighting Carl. We're abusing him and we're gaslighting him to teach him that this is what friendship is actually like. So that he like tolerates the fact that we're constantly abusive to him and treat him horrible.
Is that why he's a complete dick to me?
Probably. So yeah, that's probably my fault. My bad. I'll own that one. Just do what I do. Just tell him, look, the next time I see you, I'm going to throw you off of my balcony.
Yeah, because he and I fucking hang out all the time.
I haven't seen him since fucking January.
February.
I haven't seen him since
ever.
He's right there.
Yeah, I can't throw him off the fucking balcony through here, motherfucker. Otherwise, I already would have.
I mean, I think plane flights are still cheap.
Dude, you curl your you clear your throat like Butthead laughs.
Seth Rogen laugh.
Not Seth Rogen.
He said Seth Rogen.
Ah.
I said Seth
did
Rogen.
You? Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, this conversation went way off where I intended it to be tonight, but that's okay.
As far as games, all I've been playing has been Minecraft Windows 10 Edition. I did go through and play like all of GTA 5 on my PS3 about 3 months ago.
Oh, that's a long play.
Yeah. Well, I had lots of time.
True.
So.
Mark, you've streamed Minecraft a few times on your Twitch stream, and I mean, I've watched it, but
I don't play that no more.
But I
tried playing it. I played it with my buddy Michael. He's got 2 PCs in his room, so I would fucking sign up. I would log in a mic.
Yes.
I would log in a mic.
Yes, Stephanie. 100%. More of a Terraria fan.
Way
more Terraria fan.
Yeah.
Look at Stephanie pulling out the fucking gamer knowledge.
Right? Go Steph.
I am much more of a fan of Terraria than I am of Minecraft. Minecraft, I broke a mountain and I lost all of my shit, so I stopped playing.
I tried. My friend Michael's really into it, and he would love to get drunk and play Minecraft. And I'm like, fuck that. Let's play Killing Floor. Why are we tearing shit apart and building shit and running as fast as we can from fucking pixelated zombies and trying to find our fucking house? Like, it's just the weirdest version of Hansel and Gretel I've ever fucking played.
You know what? Right on.
I really want to play that game that you, Mal, and Rob were playing together, Mark, where you guys went bowling.
Oh yeah, Tower Unite.
I kind of want to check that out.
I think it's only on PC, but it's not too system intensive. Your system could probably handle it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could handle, because like we like they still play that. I still have it installed, but I don't really play it because I have lost myself to Warframe in any free time that I have.
I did, however, find a really cool mashup for Minecraft Windows 10 Edition yesterday.
Thank you,
It
Jay.
was
Thank you, Jay.
it was Pac-Man. Basically, it gives you like a dungeon crawler feel, like the original Wolfenstein, where you're running around as Pac-Man and the walls are like moving around like you are in like a first-person shooter, and the ghosts are like these massive. They're basically the ghast from the normal game. And as I was sitting there playing, I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to know where I'm going? Because I can't really see where the rooms all go, because the walls are like 20 feet high.
Right.
So you're running around, and you're basically... And I realized as I'm running around, I accidentally looked up, and I was like, oh, I can see a mirror on the ceiling. And that looks like the actual game. So it was actually a lot of fun.
Huh. One last thing about Spider-Man, because fuck, we've been talking about Spider-Man. We should just call this Spider-Man fucking
The
episode.
Spider-Cat.
But when they inevitably add Spider-Man to the Sony version of the new Avengers game, obviously they're going to have different costumes and different skins. What do you think the original, the automatic template, the automatic, first time you play as him is
It's
going to
be
look like?
it's going to be a variation of the movie version. Specifically, probably I would say the original movie version, because it's the most iconic.
The Tobey Maguire one.
No, the first suit that
Civil War.
Civil War. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So the Ditko, the Steve Ditko era looking.
That's what I'm thinking. It's the most iconic. It's the most consistent.
I would. So you think they'll make him a teenager?
Yeah, they're basing it pretty closely off of the MCU, so they're going to make him a teenager again.
Lord.
That was.
I thought I broke my glasses. I was like, what the fuck?
Has anyone played the PC game Paranoid off of Steam? Mark, that's probably you right there.
Paranoid.
It says it's pretty much Alan Wake, if I'm reading that right.
Yeah.
Because I know you played Alan Wake. I think you streamed it once, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have not played this. It's in a to be announced status on Steam. I'm guessing there's a demo.
Is it a demo stuff? Can I just say I'm impressed that Steph has a Steam account like that?
I'm not playing this. I'm absolutely not playing this.
Uh-oh. Why?
It's developed by Mad Mind Studios.
Okay.
It's part of the Agony franchise, which is just one of the worst fucking... I streamed that. That was 2 hours of me fucking swearing in a fucking game.
Remember that? I saw some of that. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. How else can you tell what's any different?
No, because usually there's swearing and snarky comments. This was just rapid fire, fuck off.
Using it with something else, then possibly.
Like straight up road rage.
What's your favorite old school? So nothing newer than the N64. No, we'll go one step up. PS1 generation, so nothing newer.
The N64 and the PS1 came out in the same generation, you ding dong.
Well, that's why. Okay, well, that's.
He's like the N64. Well, no, we'll go one newer. The PS1, motherfucking butt.
No, he's not incorrect, because originally it was just PSX. The PS1 came out after the PS2.
Well, that's just a redesign. That's just a redesign of the PS1.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's PS1, PSX are they're functionally similar ways of referring to the same platform. So it's like I kind of like either here or there.
Todd, I appreciate you trying to help me there, but no, that didn't go very well.
Right.
Okay, so then the GameCube generation, because that would be the next one up then. So it'd be PS2 and GameCube, right, Mark? Yeah.
The PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox would be that
all same area. Yeah.
The one before that is PlayStation 1, N64, Sega Saturn. Also, the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast kind of sort of acts as a weird ass bridge between those, but it technically falls into the same era as PlayStation 2.
All right, so what the fuck's the question that you're trying to ask?
What he wants to ask is, like, he's trying to establish a cutoff point. I think we're going with from the PlayStation N60. I think it's like the 7th console generation or the 6th console generation. I don't remember the fucking numbers at this point. From the era starting from the PlayStation 1, N64, Sega Saturn, and backward, what's your favorite console?
For me, it's easily the Super Nintendo. It's without question.
I might have to agree.
PlayStation.
I mean, PlayStation 1 was great, but like there was a lot of awful fucking games that I played.
Oh sure.
Like I remember trying to play Celebrity Deathmatch, and that was damn near fucking impossible to play.
To my mind, the thing with the PlayStation 1 is that it was like the freest developers were to just release whatever the fuck they wanted. Like the PlayStation 2 had a ton of great games, but that was the point where Sony was flexing their big dick energy and basically saying, you can't release your stuff on our platform unless you do what we want us to do. And it drove like 4 different fucking companies out of business because they wouldn't let them release stuff. The PlayStation 1 for me just has like the weirdest mishmash of shit. Like so many amazingly weird fucking games. Also, I was a Genesis kid. So Super Nintendo, I have played games from it that are great, but I don't have the nostalgia factor for it the same way I would the Genesis. And the Genesis just has a lot of fucking stuff on it that I'm just like, nah, hard pass. I would not go back to that.
See, and
I'm with you, Mark.
I would say, Mark, that I think I'm sure I'm waiting for the destruction to follow this sentence, but to me, I would say the Super Nintendo was the PlayStation 2 of its time.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Okay.
The Genesis did outsell it for quite a while, but because
I'm talking about game variety and quality is kind of where I was leaning.
I agree with that too. I love my Genesis, but again, it's a lot of the stuff that I played is trash, and I would never go back to it.
Let me add this. I was definitely a Super Nintendo fan, and I had a collection of games, and I'm pissed that I sold them all. I'm so fucking pissed that I sold the whole fucking system and all the fucking games I had, just because I is one of the biggest fucking fuck you Ricos that I've ever could say to myself. But I didn't have a oh fuck, I'm so stupid. I have lack of sleep, guys. So, what's the next gen for the Super Nintendo?
That would have been the PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, and 64.
No, but part of the 64. I mean the Nintendo next generation. So I never had a 64, but all my fucking they weren't friends, but like all those kids I would be fortunate to, like my cousins would have a fucking 64. I remember having more fun playing like GoldenEye than like anything on Super Nintendo, but it was like I had to earn that. Like even with a cousin I was like I loved, but I didn't really fucking like. I would go and hang out at his house to play GoldenEye on 64. You know, it's just situations like that where I'm like, I earned this. It's my treat. I get to fucking hang with my cousin and be, annoyed, but I got to play GoldenEye.
As good as GoldenEye was, I actually thought Perfect Dark was a better game.
Never played Perfect Dark, so I can't compare it. All that was the most. Everyone had that fucking game. Everyone had GoldenEye if they had a 64. Maybe the other thing was Mario Kart 64 and Super Mario 64. I mean those were like the 3 most popular fucking games that I saw inevitably in everyone's house that had a 64. And they were all interesting. They were all fun. But obviously playing GoldenEye is funner than playing Super Mario, because you get to shoot.
Perfect Dark, I would say, is a better game. GoldenEye is the game that people remember more.
Oh, for sure.
Because everybody always has that fucking story about Man with the Golden Gun mode, or that one asshole friend that you had that wasn't allowed to be invited over unless he agreed not to play his Odd Job, and then he would fucking play his Odd Job anyway.
Yeah.
Or that you had stipulations where you would like tape cardboard like on the screen so that they couldn't fucking like peer at where you were, and like, oh man, that was a rule. That was a rule in certain households. Like, you know, like we're putting the cardboard up, motherfucker.
Well,
My favorite was playing just all Prox Mines.
Oh, Mark, that's fucking terrible.
It was great.
There was a mode, there was a gun, Rico, on Perfect Dark that allowed you, it basically allowed you to see through walls because you could use heat signatures, but it would also shoot through the wall.
That
So
fucking
you
snipe, that alien sniper rifle, yeah.
Yep.
It's funny you say that because going back to Bond, there was. Did you guys ever play the From Russia with Love PlayStation 2
Yes,
game?
I didn't care for it, but it was okay.
Really? I thought that was fucking awesome at the. I mean, at the time, there were not a lot of great Bond games, especially in the PlayStation 2 era. I mean, there was like.
Is that the one that
what
they
was
did
that,
with Sean Connery? I might be thinking of the other. I might be thinking of the other one.
No, it's straight. I mean, Sean came back and voiced James Bond for like the first time in what, 30 fucking years, or no, 40 years, and it's a weird fucking feeling because you're not doing Pierce Brosnan, you're not doing Daniel Craig, you're going the original source, and you're playing what is, to a more or less degree, arguably the everyone's favorite of the original Bond films. Like, it's From Russia with Love is really up there in terms of Bond films, and they made a whole fucking game about it, and they had a deathmatch type of fucking scenario, and there was a gun that was a straight up bullet armor piercing gun, and you could just like aim and just auto aim and shoot at people through a fucking wall, and like it was the biggest dick move. And you could obviously change the settings, so like you could pick the scenario and you could pick what guns were available, and we just had like armor piercing ones just to really fuck with each other. So like we're just running as fast as we can, trying to not get the auto aim, and then you just die. Honestly underrated as fuck James Bond game. Not gonna lie.
Unrelated to anything that we have been talking about, but absolutely a thing that I think this chat would appreciate. So a friend of mine is trying to talk about how he watched Tenet, the newest Christopher Nolan movie. He was utterly underwhelmed about it. You don't have to know anything about the film for this conversation. I'm not spoiling anything. But like we were basically talking about like he was like, you know, like reference stuff that you think is bad, and I will tell you if it's worse than Tenet. So I mentioned something to him about another thing, and he told me Tenet features a supposedly menacing speech where the villain says he likes to watch his enemies suffocate on their own testicles.
Wait, suffocate on their own
testicles? What? So I said so counterpoint.
How do you do that?
Snip.
I said counterpoint. I would say that. So he says, I think you'd be obtuse and scary enough to be able to say, you will drown on your balls and the world will laugh. And I was like, to be fair, I'd probably just be like, motherfucker, I'm going to make you drown on your own nuts.
Yeah, that's more your delivery, buddy. Yeah.
You'd be the most interesting Bond villain.
Oh, you should see him in his
Bond just rolled in, and I'll just be like sitting there petting the cat. And he'll just be like, oh, what's going on? I'll be like, motherfucker, I'm going to make you drown on your own nuts. And then just like drop into a fucking pool full of sharks.
You need to see that. I'm telling you, Mark.
All right, so this is me as Bond, just like, so are you going to kill me? Like, and then you give me your line.
I'm going to make you drown on your own nuts.
Okay, I'm out. Fine. That would just be the quickest like way of Bond just be like, I'm not ready for this shit. Like, I've had enough. You do what you gotta do. You rob what bank you're gonna fucking global domination. That's fine. I want my nuts where they fucking
real. Are. Oh, thank you, Jess. That's awesome. Maybe awesome. Maybe it's awesome.
How much did you pay them?
Right.
300 Bitcoin.
I'm getting him on. Awesome.
All right, so just as popular as Batman and Spider-Man, I actually, behind the curtain, CJ and I were discussing like what future topics can we throw out for this Get Vokl, that we're doing every week. and I wrote a whole list, and one of them was best and worst
Wait,
Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on. You paid your brother-in-law your boobs? I don't know that your husband should be okay with that. I'm just saying. Okay.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah,
I guess.
right.
Thank you for doing that. Like, thank you for your sacrifice. The best and worst Star Wars video games.
Oh.
So
worst video game is easy. Best video game is hard.
I agree with Mark.
Okay.
I think the best is hard.
Because there's been so many different Star Wars games that appeal to a wide variety of people that are also good. So it's like there's a lot of different answers that you could provide that I would nod and go, yes, absolutely, I agree with you. Even if it's not my favorite, I understand why you would feel that way.
well, let's make it easy. Just give me a top 5 for each.
The worst, I can only really come up with one off the top of my head right now. I would really have to think to give you more. But the worst, Star Wars Masters of Terraskazi.
I have to fucking agree. And I bought that shit. Oh my god, it's so bad. It's like them trying to do Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but it's like really bad. Okay, that's fair. But like you're playing as Star Wars characters, you could play as Darth Vader holding a lightsaber, fighting against Princess Leia in like the slave.
Yeah, for some
Leia
reason
outfit.
she was specifically in the slave Leia outfit, and I'm like, I get it, but also fuck
yeah,
not slave.
Yeah,
be real,
exactly.
You know,
but like hit his daughter, whether he knows or not, with a fucking lightsaber, and it doesn't like go through. It's just like it's just a glowy baton, and you're watching. You're like, who decided? Like, what part of George Lucas was like, yeah, I like this idea. Like, come on. It was the weirdest fucking and shittiest game.
I got for me, the worst comes down to one of two games, and it's not that one because I've never played it, so I can't speak to that one.
I will say real quick though, if you want to play a good Star Wars fighting game, play Star Gladiator. It's not anything to do with actual Star Wars, but like the main bad guy is basically Darth Vader, and the main good guy is basically Luke Skywalker, and they both have lightsabers.
Oh, someone didn't want to pay. George Lucas is gonna sue somebody. Someone didn't want to fucking like. That's that copyright infringement shit. This is going everywhere.
It was in 1996 it came out, and it was rad as shit.
It's like, oh, introducing space battles. Yeah, fuck off.
The worst one for me is either that Pod Racer game for the 64.
See, that's the problem. A lot of people are going to say that's their best.
That's a problem, but that's.
I mean, it's fine, CJ. We've already established that you hate terrible things.
Or no, that I hate good things.
No, they love. No, that he loves.
No, that he has terrible choices and things to hate is what I'm trying to say there.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
Have bad taste is the key point that I'm coming to here.
Mark, help me with the title, but I'm pretty sure it was a launch title with the 64. There was a Star Wars game where
if it's the one I'm thinking of with the fucking mercenary guy, that's another one a lot of people would think was no.
I don't think there's a mercenary, but you actually get to do the scene on Hoth where you fly around the AT-ATs with the rope and actually fly around.
Well, that was a Star Wars arcade game. That was
that's not what this was. I
think you're thinking of Shadows of the Empire.
Yes,
which
that's
also is a game a lot of people would think is very good.
I thought it was fucking terrible. For me, the best Star Wars comes down to one or two games. And keep in mind, for those who are PC fans, I have not played any of the PC Star Wars games because I know, like, a lot of people love Knights of the Old Republic and those games, so I just can't speak to them. But for the ones I have played, it's either Fallen Order, the brand new one, that's really fucking good, or it's Force Unleashed, the first one.
It depends which system, because I had Force Unleashed 1 and 2 on PlayStation 2 and 3 ultimately, and then because I was like, fuck it, it's $5. I bought it on the Xbox One, the throwback fucking retro fucking version, and the Xbox version is so much different than the PlayStation, to the point where like it looks fucking game, and it pissed me off. I'm like, I don't even want to play it. Like, I remember the other version was way better. So it depends which version.
Yeah, for me, it's the original PS2 title because Force Unleashed
Yeah.
1 was on 2, and to your point, Rico, the sequel came out on the 3. The sequel was not very good. I didn't like the sequel, but the first one was phenomenal.
The sequel was fine as a continuation, but as a game on a whole, it was just okay.
But
It's like, oh, what's the best thing about it? You get 2 lightsabers. Awesome.
and if Fallen Order hadn't come out this year, Force Unleashed would be my hands down. That would be easy enough for me to say, you know. But I like I said, I haven't played any of the PC stuff, so.
I mean, okay, so Steph brought up what I was about to say, actually. So Republic Commando is really fun. Lego Star Wars is my kind of game, though. Yeah, see, to preface, Steph is the type of gamer where she gets really nauseous really easily if the camera movement is too fast. So, like, when I play a game, I actually have to lower the speed of the camera turn just so she can watch. She loves watching me play games, but then she's like, all right, enough, fuck, my eyes, Jesus. So, like, she handles all the Arkham games, but whenever I'm in a fucking vent crawling around and shit, you have to constantly move quick to kind of go around. It makes her nauseous. So little things like that. So Lego games, pound for pound, the Lego Star Wars games are one of the most detailed with all the characters. And it is juvenile, but fuck it, we love it. And I've been praising the Lego games forever. Force Awakens, the Lego game, it's fine. It was also just kind of like they upped the ante by introducing so many characters that I'm like, I don't know who the fuck any of these people are because they were like background characters in Force Awakens. How the fuck am I supposed to know who this random alien character is? Like, what do I care? Republic Commando, though, is definitely immensely fucking underrated. It is Halo with clone troopers.
Yeah.
It is
That
so
was an
much
interesting
goddamn fun.
game.
Isn't that what Battlefront is?
No,
No.
this was this was a straight first-person shooter with story mode and everything of that nature. Battlefront was
You could
more,
change it to third person as well. It doesn't look as good.
Battlefront was more like it was literally just like it was like a big battle kind of thing. For me, I would say just like a couple that I would think of off the top of my head. I'm not going to do like a top 5 just because it's too hard for me to remember. Like, because there's so many that like to try and
Oh my
rank.
god, the Vector game. Oh, that's crazy. I remember that game.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Racer, I thought was good. Personally, I enjoyed that game quite a bit. X-Wing versus TIE Fighter for the PC back in the 90s, really a hell of a lot of fun.
I heard that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Forces and like the later games that they made in that particular franchise, including Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, and so on, were quite a lot of fun. And, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Knights of the Old Republic. Not my favorite BioWare game, but definitely the game that put them on the map before EA bought them and murdered them in their sleep.
Knights of the Old Republic is immensely fun, and you could play. I mean, that really expanded my Star Wars imagination because it was nothing to do with the Skywalkers. It was nothing, it was just fun to build your own character. I actually am still kind of in the middle of Knights of the Old Republic 2. It's just not. I mean, it's still fun because it's Star Wars and lightsabers and but
play it.
It's.
I know this is going to be a difficult thing to recommend because I don't know how heavy duty your PC is, but play it.
No, I'm playing on Xbox.
Right. Play it on the PC if you can. A whole bunch of modders have like fixed the broken shit in the game. And it is like, I know, but like basically it got kicked out the door before it was finished brushing its teeth. And a whole bunch of modders went back and fixed all the broken shit, and it's a much better game as a result.
Well, it has nothing to do with the graphics or anything. It plays fine. It's just kind of, I'm at this part where I just don't give a fuck enough to want to finish this thing of constantly going back to somebody, doing a little fucking favor for them, going back to somebody else just to open up this plethora of like it's one of those, you got to do this mission to really play the fucking game. And I'm like, I don't really give a fuck enough to want to do that.
Yeah, I think like the
So
main thing is they patched in a bunch of storyline stuff that had been left on the cutting room floor. That actually makes the narrative more
Right.
compelling. That would make it feel like you would probably want to complete it more. Because there was a bunch of stuff that was cut out because they couldn't get it to work right before it was thrown out the door, and modders found it still in the code.
Did you guys ever play Bounty Hunter?
The one with Django Fett, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think I rented it. I don't remember for certain.
Oh, that was. I mean, it's hard to play now, but when you were like gamers back then, when you didn't have a fucking joystick on the PlayStation handle, it was just the directional arrows, and you had to be really creative and learn how to roll your thumb on and to move around, and the camera was always kind of off, and they would fucking randomly invert controls and shit. But Bounty Hunter was just fun, just straight up fucking fun. It expanded on the Jango Fett mythology. It was a prequel, so you find out how he meets Dooku to begin with at the very end, and it was just kind of like you're just constantly going from area to area trying to find your bounties, and the weapons were fucking amazing. Like you had your blasters, and eventually you got your jetpack, and then you were able to tie people up just like he does in the movies. It was just a lot of fun. It was one of the better Star Wars games on PlayStation 2. It was an underrated game at the time.
Yeah.
Now it probably looks dated.
By the
But I still have, yeah.
No, just by the way, to your point, Rico, about rolling your thumb around the directional pad, Mark, you'll find this kind of interesting because I was stunned that this actually occurred. As you're probably aware, they made Street Fighter V one of the PlayStation Plus games for this month.
Uh-huh.
So just because I've always wanted to see what it was about, I downloaded it because if it's free, why not, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and I can actually do the moves better in that one having an analog stick than I did in any previous Street Fighter that I ever played.
That makes sense because the motion on it is probably easier for your.
But the interesting thing is that, like, if I play like Mortal Kombat, and I mean the more current incarnations, and even Injustice, which I love the Injustice series just because the story is so fucking good.
Right.
I struggle with those moves, but the Street Fighter one, the rolling out like real simple. It's real kind of interesting.
Mortal Kombat is like tap 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 tap, and for the position that you are in, it's probably a little bit more difficult than it should be to do the sort of motions that are required, whereas with the rolling, it's just moving the stick. So you already got like an edge of motion to deal with as far as that goes.
No, that all said, I think the game is trash, but and that's because I have
I think Street Fighter V is trash, and Todd just leaves.
And I think that because I fundamentally have an issue with the fact that you have to basically unlock and pay for not real money, but it's in-game currency.
Okay, so we're talking about Street Fighter V specifically, not like
correct.
Like okay, yeah, no, I agree with that one. I agree with that one 100%. Street Fighter V, the championship version of it for the PC, I think is and the console, I think is good, but I definitely think the original iteration of it was not great. I agree with that.
Well, this is the championship edition, though. But the thing that I have a fucking problem with is that some of the original characters you have to unlock by earning in-game currency. Yeah. Like, I don't care about the additionals, like the guys they added, like T-Hawk and Cammy, and some of the ones I don't even know because I stopped playing after 3. But, like, Guile should not be an unlockable character. E-Honda should not be an unlockable character. I'm sorry.
Nobody gives a fuck about E-Honda.
No, but the point is he's an original.
I get it. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. In the more modern version of it, they're not unlockable. Is all I can say about that.
Mm.
I like going to the restaurants, Benny Hanna. I like them.
Thank you. You like the rice beating heart? Is that your thing?
I've actually never been to a Benny. I've been to a Benny Hanna type of place.
I've never been to Benny Hanna either, but I've been the same thing. They still do the beating heart thing. That's just a thing.
No, it wasn't a beating heart. It was they did a train. like out of onions and shit. And they do the blaze of fire. And every time I'm
Volcano of
gone
onions,
with my
yeah.
nephews and my brother. Yeah, and my nephews are intrigued by the fire, but it actually scares the shit out of them. So we want to see the fire, and they just burst into tears every single time. Like, you guys are doing this to yourself.
I just like
Like
the free sake. Yeah.
I never got free sake.
Oh yeah, they'll take like this like ketchup bottle type thing and squirt sake at you. I love it.
Fucking lush.
What you guys?
Did you guys?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Todd. No, go ahead, Todd. You haven't said much, so go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, what did you guys think of the DC versus Mortal Kombat?
I never got to play.
Didn't play it.
Yeah.
It
Mark?
was.
If I can't rip Superman's head off with his spine still intact, I no buys.
I
Well,
bought the game. I played it for about 5 minutes, and it was literally like they put in some cutscenes in between the fights, so you knew why they were fighting each other. It was not as good as Injustice. Let's put it that way.
No, Injustice is so good. I got the first one for free, and I willingly paid for the second, but I didn't pay full price. I got it for like $5, but still. The only problem I had with the second one is the same thing I was just talking about with Street Fighters. There's a lot of this in-game currency you have to earn, and there's like leveling up and all that shit. I don't buy a fighter for RPG stuff. Like I just don't. I wanna just play the fighter, you know? So
Yeah, I'm not interested in RPG games myself.
But Mark, so I don't know. Yeah, right. Good job, Todd. No, I'm kidding. Rico, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just thinking of another Star Wars game that I fucking love playing was the PS2, and I guess they did Xbox, adaptation of Star Wars Episode 3. Because it was the first time in my gaming
Life.
my progression, where you could actually it was actually faithful. I mean, they tweaked a couple things to fucking fit with the story. They add characters that didn't exist. But like you could duel, and it seemed like a legitimate duel against the other players that you were going up against. Like you blocked well, and I know there are other Jedi lightsaber games because I mean, there's different people that go for different Star Wars games. They want to fly the ship and blow up the Death Star. There are ones that just want to run around in corridors with a blaster gun and fuck up stormtroopers. Then there's the motherfuckers like me that want to fuck people up with a lightsaber and the Force. So we are all kind of variations of that because we're all like, hey, Han Solo's cool. But you know who's fucking also cool? Fucking Luke or Vader or fucking Mace Windu or whoever. Motherfuckers who can just throw, and that it made throwing a lightsaber at
I would like an adventure style game because I think he's probably been in that fighter you were talking about. But I would love an adventure style game where you're able to play as Maul because that dude had to be talented as fuck. You know?
I mean, he survived,
yeah.
so I guess so.
No, but I'm saying like, well, because there's that too. But I feel like in the first movie, and I don't want to start breaking down the first movie because let's be real, Phantom Menace is pretty much shit. But
plus we got 20 minutes left.
But then that too. But but I don't think we got to see the full talents of Darth Maul. I don't think we got to see the full abilities. And I know he's in was it Clone Wars, I think.
And Rebels.
Rebels,
okay,
yeah.
he's in both. Okay.
And The Rise of Skywalker.
True. But I'm talking about where you really get and I mean he's in the last like 5 seconds of Solo too, but I mean like you don't see him do anything but stand there. You know, I would like, but someone, because you do get a little bit of that though, I guess, Rico, in Fallen Order, because Mark, you haven't played it yet, if I recall, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you do get a little bit, and you can go not dual saber, but double-sided, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun, and I think the best part of Jedi Fallen Order is the how do I phrase this? The openness of what you can do. It doesn't feel restricted, but it does. It feels like a real progression. You are learning the ways of the Force with Cal.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It's
Yeah.
Cal.
The
But
Joker, right?
and then the other another Joker actor who's playing a fucking Jedi. What a shocker. I would fucking pay so much money to see Mark Hamill as the Joker in a Star Wars movie. Be like, oh, Darth Vader, I'm coming to kill you. Like, just to fucking see that.
Make a fan film. Do it.
Yeah, I'm already fucking struggling with my likeness. I don't need to be fucking sued by Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
He's not returning my shit. He's not returning my fucking tweets anyways. Last thing I need is for him to make contact. Be like, all right, I'll finally contact you. See you in court.
Yeah, right. At least
I very much want to see. I very much want to see somebody cast James Earl Jones as the Joker.
Okay.
James Earl Jones is the Joker.
Remember,
The joke is that he was Darth Vader.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
we got
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
to go into Maul, you could play. I mean, the first time you get to play as Maul is Battlefront 2, way back in PlayStation 2.
Yep.
And I'm the unpopular vote in this. I prefer Battlefront 1. I'm talking about the older generation, not the fucking new Xbox, PlayStation 4 era. I prefer Battlefront 1 over Battlefront 2. I like the graphics. I like the settings more. The only real perk in Battlefront 2 is you can play as all the heroes and villains. You can play as Darth Maul and run around Mos Eisley and fuck up, dudes that are Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda and Leia and shit like that. That's fun. And his fighting style, I mean, Maul is the best character to play because it is a little bit of button mashing, but you fuck up dudes in a matter of seconds as opposed to when you're trying to play I'm going to play as Han Solo. Well, yeah, Han Solo only has a blaster and like a bomb. And you got to be like really fucking precise. And you're also got Maul coming at you and he fucking looks like a goddamn windmill on crack. So you need to fucking like aim properly. And oh, look, man, Harrison Ford's dead. So, but then,
Don't
I didn't
fucking say that. You're going to fucking jinx it.
Harrison Ford's going to outlive everybody. He can't even kill himself.
It's going to be him and fucking Keith Richards just hanging out on a mountain somewhere.
Both high as shit.
Yep. Yep.
Preserved by weed.
Robin Williams had the best Keith Richards joke I've ever seen in my life. Keith Richards, because what Robin said, he said, Keith Richards is the only guy that can go to a drug dealer, and I see a drug dealer go, I'm out. That's it.
And it'll be like the end of the world. It'll be a cockroach, and Keith Richards will be like, I smoked John Phil. Did you know that? Fucking crazy.
As we're getting to the end of this, Mark, because I don't know how much time you're going to need on this. I know, obviously, as we said already, I think you told me privately. I don't know if we've talked about it on the show. You weren't able to get a reservation currently on one of the next gen systems, but you'll get it whenever.
I'm at the point at my life where I don't need to have this fucking shit.
But I'm curious if there's any upcoming games you're aware of that are already scheduled that you're
Demon's Souls. That's it.
Demons. That's it.
That's it. I've seen the other stuff that they announced at the PlayStation thing, and they're like fine. Some of the stuff that they had on the list is stuff that's going to be on PC, and I'll probably just play it there.
There's three for me, and the one we've already kind of talked to death, the Miles Morales addition to the
Miles
Spider-Man
Morales
game.
I'll probably end up getting it on PlayStation 4 just because I'm not going to have the PS5.
I don't think they're putting it on 4.
As far as I'm aware, it's supposed to be on PS.
Okay, as far as I heard, it was 5 only, but I didn't.
Nope,
really...
I'm looking at the Polygon article and PlayStation 4 too.
Okay, fair enough. If you see it, then what I'm not doing, because there's 2 ways they're selling it, by the way, at least for the 5. You can get just the Miles Morales extension, which is not full price. It's only like 40 as opposed to 70. Or you can pay the 70 and get a remaster of the Spider-Man game in addition to the Miles extension. So it's just
Yeah, can we just take a second? Can we just take a second? Why the fuck do I need a remaster of a game that came out like 2 goddamn years ago? Get the fuck out of here!
I feel the same way, but they're putting out Devil May Cry 5 remastered, and more.
And I also think that's stupid.
Right,
Well,
and
it's a special edition, but yeah, it's a fucking remaster. Come on.
Right, and more importantly, and this is the one that pisses me off the most, but I still want to ask you about 2 other games that aren't this, but hear me out. This is the 3rd generation that Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be on. It was on PS3, it was on PS4, and now they're putting it out again for PS5.
I cannot wait until COVID is done with, because I'm going to fly out to fucking LA and just take a big fucking shit right on the fucking front porch of fucking Rockstar Games.
Go for it.
I get it from the perspective of, like, there's 2 reasons why it makes sense, as much as I hate it. The first reason is because, as Todd Howard said of Skyrim, we'll stop releasing it on platforms when people stop paying money for it.
Fair.
And as much as that sucks, I get it. The other side of it is GTA Online, for some weird fucking reason, has this massive goddamn following that everybody loves. And it's like, it's not for me. I understand why people do it. Like, there's this weird Twitch subculture that does GTA roleplay. Yeah, I don't understand it. But if it's, what's that?
My brother plays that. I was just typing it out in the chat room, and my brother plays this GTA 5 mod called Roleplay, which is basically you go and you play the game, you get a job, you do that job, you make money with that job, then you're able to do other things in the game.
Yeah, it's I don't understand it, but if it makes people happy, more power to you. But it's just, I understand in that perspective why people would invest in it. But yeah, beyond that,
I'd like to interrupt for 1 second. PodAskew does not condone shitting on video game steps.
This is entirely. I do not, like, my point of view is not representative of the PodAskew cast. I should not be taken as a representative of them in any way, shape, or form. This is purely an opinion expressed by Mark B. Writing Enterprises, copyright 2020. I want to shit on fucking Rockstar Games.
Well, then I'm jumping ship from PodAskew because I agree with Mark. Let's go shit on Rockstar Games.
All right. Rico's like, finally, I can fucking replace this piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay for the copyright myself.
I have 2 games I want to ask you about, Mark, and we are getting close. So when you're done, just let me know.
Yeah, the only other game outside of Demon Souls is Resident Evil 8, aka Village, which is going to be available on every fucking thing. So it's not a PS5 exclusive thing as far as that goes. For PS5 specifically.
I thought it was next gen. No.
It is going to be next gen, but it's also PC.
Okay.
And my PC can handle it, so.
That was one of the ones I wanted to ask you about, so you've already kind of said. And I agree with you. I'm not a huge first-person guy. You know I'm not, but the Resident Evil series has done it right. 7 was creepy as fuck in the best way. It really
Resident Evil 7, like, there was a couple of moments where it fell apart, but it was
as a whole,
it was the best reinvention of the franchise since 4, easily.
Agreed. And I'll tell you, I'll even tell you, Mark, I think I told you this privately one day. I even got a buddy of mine has the VR for PS4, so I even got to try it in the VR, and it's even creepier in VR. And now I struggle with it for reasons of my disability, but I did get to play it a little bit, and it's creepy as fuck.
What's the other you want to ask me about?
The other one, I don't think you're a huge fan of this franchise, but I still would like to hear your feedback. The Oddworld game that's coming, I think, looks really good.
It looks good, but Oddworld isn't for me, personally.
Yeah, I think it's the best one, in my opinion, because I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I think it's the best one that's coming out since probably the 3rd one, which was a PS2 title, if I recall. So, I mean, we're talking quite a while now, and they've put out quite a few in between.
There was an Xbox game. And then there was Stranger's Wrath, which was, I want to say, PS3 and Xbox 360. But this is the first actual Abe game in forever.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's going to be good. And actually, you know what? We've talked about this, too, and listen, we got about 5 minutes to do this in, guys, so we got to do this quick.
Well, Todd says you guys could just jump over to his.
Well, yeah, I also made Todd a promise that I kept, so we have to talk about that a little bit too once we get to his show. But J.K. Rowling or
I was about to
maybe
mention that.
the Hogwarts game, because it looks like, from what I'm understanding, well, here's the question, and you may not know the answer, Mark. Is she or is she not getting any of the royalties off that?
We don't know. We don't have an answer to that question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am of two minds on this, and I'll keep it brief. On one hand, and this is like a studies sort of thing, but the TLDR, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Sure.
What that means is, like, you can fucking try and regulate what you do to whatever extent that you do, but like, there's just going to be a point where it's like you can't regulate your activities without fucking punishing yourself. Like, Amazon sucks as a company, but sometimes you gotta fucking order from Amazon, you know. So in that regard, it's like I don't see the inherent benefit of punishing the developer.
PodAskew again wants to thank Amazon for accepting them onto Amazon Music. Thank you. Just moving on. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. So, but like, so it's very much a case of I don't want to punish the developers for making a game that they have no fucking say in. They were told to make this game. They're trying to make the best game that they possibly can, and they've made it known that J.K. Rowling has no fucking input on it. We don't know if she's getting residuals on it. I would venture to say probably not, but nobody's going to fucking come out and say that, right? So It's really a case of, do you think you are doing harm by supporting a product that in some way, shape, or form supports a transphobe? For me personally, the answer to that question is I don't know, but I don't fucking care enough about Harry Potter to play that game anyway.
I just
some people are gonna say yes, some people are gonna say no. We don't have an answer. We're never gonna get an answer.
Because here's what I got to say about the game in 2 seconds, Mark, and I can do it pretty quickly. Because you and I both watched the Sony thing the other day on.
It looks good.
It visually speaking might be one of the best looking games on PS5, like from a visual perspective.
Visually speaking, it looks like one of the best Harry Potter games. Period.
Oh yeah,
without question. Yeah, without question. But from even from the PS5, and that's the thing that's so frustrating about it, is because if she wasn't such a fucking
you guys heard about her new book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, but we can have that conversation later.
If she,
in a nutshell, her new book is like a murder mystery. It's all transphobic as fuck.
She doubled down on the transphobia.
We the baddies.
If she wasn't such a just terrible human being, I would buy that game just based on how good it looks. But
that would be one of those games where I'm like, if it's PS5 exclusive, I may buy a PS5, but it ain't gonna be anytime soon. But that definitely was like, ooh, that looks good. It looks like the fucking Knights of the Old Republic. But
if that
like
game ends
Potter
up on
edition.
PC, I'm gonna have to dig out my fucking Red Beard hat. My viewpoints are my own. They are not endorsed by PodAskew in any way, shape, or form. Just a reminder.
Yeah. You didn't protect us before, motherfucker. You don't have to now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, look, all things considered, I'm now being more paranoid about like protecting the brand since we're getting fucked.
Yeah, Mark, I don't know if you heard, but someone's on Amazon selling shit with our logo on it, and we're not getting anything from it.
Yeah, I got that too.
Congratulations.
No.
Yeah, congratulations for being.
Like it sucked, but also you finally made it? Question mark.
Yeah, question mark is the key word there. Yeah,
it's like you're a winner and a loser.
Jess, if you go on Amazon and search PodAskew, you'll find a whole bunch of merchandise with our logo on it that we had nothing to do with.
And it ain't. Don't buy
it either because we're not getting any of the money.
Yeah, I've been talking to lawyers.
Yeah, we've already started consulting what our legal actions are. Please go look because it's intriguing as fuck. But
yeah, they did the same thing with the 206 Geek as well.
That's crazy. This shit's nuts. But anyway, I don't really want to get into another one. I mean, we're a little bit early, but I don't want to get into another topic. I think that's a little ill-advised at this venture. So, Todd, to your point, if you want to carry, well, I'm coming over. I don't know how Steph's doing, so I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, if she's looking at it, it's one thing if she's just watching you guys have a conversation, but I need to. All I've eaten today was half a banana, and I got like 3 hours of sleep. So, have fun, guys.
Mark, you're welcome. Obviously, jump over if you'd like. Todd's going to be on for at least an hour, if not 2. I know Jay will come because she's just awesome. Jess,
Okay.
come hang out as well, please.
Yes,
what
you're doing.
I'm going to ask Todd and Mark to jump off for a minute, and then we're going to get things closed down for the night. You need me? I can kick you. There you go. If it would just be easier for you. Let's do this. So again, I want to thank everybody that came out. I want to thank Mark for hanging out with us 3rd week in a row. Very much appreciate that. I know you normally do your stream and you've spent that time hanging out with us instead. So that means a lot to me. I think I speak for Rico pretty easily with that as well. Everyone that's always come out. I know it's not our normal crowd, but the people that hung around, thank you. Even the people that stayed for a little bit. Of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg had to die literally 5 minutes before we go on air. So that did help. But, that's what it is. Jay, thank you so much for the letter to Ariel. I know she very much appreciated it. I know she didn't hang around, but those things happen, unfortunately. So, but she did very much appreciate it. She even messaged me privately again to tell me to tell you thank you. So I know she very much was appreciative of it. So thank you for everybody coming and hanging out with us. I'm headed over to Todd's show, Todd the 206 Geek. Just follow me over. I'll be posting up links on our socials, but if you're not following him, just search Todd the 206 Geek and jump in, and we will talk to all of you guys next week. I have a really interesting topic for next week. I'm curious to hear people's thoughts on this one. So we'll tease you that way and just leave it at that.
PodAskew.